welcome back. I'm Tedward, and today, thanks to Bond Group in Waltham, Massachusetts, I'm continuing to live out my American graffiti dreams. We've got another classic 50s American car, and this is a 1956 Ford Thunderbird. Those of you who know these cars well could already clock it as a 1956 because of that rear Continental kit. In 1955, when the Thunderbird first came out, that rear spare tire wasn't on the car. It was actually inside the trunk. And in order to make room for more trunk space, better travel for you and your companion, you can put a bunch of luggage in there, they did the Continental kit. But then they took it away in 1957. So that is one of the little details that clocks this as a 56. It's powered by a 312 cubic inch naturally aspirated V8 mated to a Ford-O-Matic 3-speed automatic gearbox, and you had an option of a manual 3-speed, the Ford-O-Matic, or an overdrive. So there was different power ratings. I believe this one makes 225 horsepower. The Thunderbird was originally commissioned because some Ford fellows were in Paris and they started seeing European coupes and realized, wait, we need to be making cars like this. And they also had to compete with the likes of Chevrolet because the Corvette was coming out. This is not a sports car. This was more about convenience, opulence, style. It was more of an accessory to your life, and they wanted it to weigh about 2,500 pounds. Now, we just drove a 55 Fairlane Sunliner, which was an enormous boat. That was a big car. This Thunderbird looks petite and European in comparison. And honestly, it looks a little ahead of its time, because when we start going into the 1960s with Maserati, this sort of style is exactly what you would have seen on a 3500 with the little hood scoop and the fenders and the fins, all these things. But at the same time, this still looks quintessentially American, and they really took a risk here on this car. And it's hard to imagine now that it would be called anything other than the Thunderbird, the T-Bird, but this wasn't originally what it was going to be. It was originally based off of the Vega concept, and then they had other names like the Tropicana, or I think the Hawaiian. They definitely wanted to evoke that spirit of being in paradise with the roof down. These came with both soft and hard tops. I actually just took the hard top off. That has the porthole on it. That's great because you get improved visibility, but you could order it with the porthole delete. And this one also has a white soft top back here that you can pop up. But we are gonna go top down for the day because that is exactly how I'm feeling on this very hot summer day. This one is outfitted in raven black. The interior is two-tone red and white, although I have come to know it as a sunburn because it looks exactly like your skin if you get a sunburn with a bathing suit on. So let's take a look around. I want to show you the space that they opened up in the back. So in order to get into this trunk, we've got to get to this keyhole. So there's a lever down here. We're going to push forward a little bit on that, push the lever down, and this falls away. There you go. This also opens up space for your fuel filler, which is great because in this time period, think Porsche, if you had a Speedster, you would have to open the frunk and fill into the frunk. So the fact that you could access this from here is actually pretty trick. Back here, we use our lock key, and that opens up our trunk with plenty of space. I have a jump box just in case. It has been starting up quite nicely. And under here, you'll see something that is quite unperiod correct. That is a 6 CD changer. And in here, almost surreptitiously, this modern radio with these buttons here with the Thunderbird logo on it. So pretty clever what they've done in order to upgrade that system. I think that's kind of wonderful, and I don't see any problems with upgrading your sound system as long as maybe you keep the original radio. And then to close it up, we just push this back and you can see this just locks right into place. Looking great. We'll put that plate on shortly. These windows, just like the Ford Fairlane, have this wonderful frame, and that rolls down very fast. The seats, good Lord, they're power adjustable. How incredible. But let me show you what's under the hood. So we got to pull the hood latch right there. And then under here is our V8 with Ford Thunderbird valve covers. This is a bit of a parts bin car. They use things that they already had going for them, and that is kind of the Ford way, is making things efficiently, but giving the customers what they want and showing them something new, maybe something they didn't know they wanted yet. Now, in order to get a little more air in the car, you actually have these vents right here. So we'll leave those open. There's a little lever down there. That's gonna bring us a little more air into the cabin while we're driving. But let's go out and take this thing for a drive, because it's a beautiful day, it's a beautiful car, and it's really fun to drive some classic American muscle. Let's close this up. Oh yeah. To start it, we use this key. Into that ignition. Now, typical Prindle setup here, but in order to get this thing started, you actually have to put it in neutral. I love this tachometer. We've got the same speedo that we had in that Fairlane Sunliner. Now, in 1957, this went away and went into round gauges. So that's some of the little things that make the 56 so special. Now, it's a Ford-O-Matic 3-speed. So essentially, it's starting out in second gear, and then it'll upshift into third. If you want that first gear, I believe you can floor it, or you can start in low down here, and that'll give you that low gear. Oh, what a sound! They do not make cars this beautiful anymore. This power steering is so beautiful. This is weighted a little bit heavier than the Fairlane, but it is still a master guide power steering system. There are no seatbelts. I am just sitting on this bench. Now, some of you hate my watch, and I like my running watch. It's great. But for you guys on this very special occasion, I'm going to take it off. See if you notice. I'm going to get my beautiful tan line. All right. These blinkers indicate here and here. Everything in here is so beautiful. The textures are incredible. I like everything I'm touching. This really is a two-fingered steering operation. You don't need much more than this. Back in the 1950s, they're trying to make everything easier. All the appliances, everything that's being marketed for your home is just, it's so easy now. You don't need to worry about doing all these tasks yourself. Now you'll have automation, you'll have machines, you'll have your can openers, you'll have your Ford Aeromatic, whatever, air conditioning in your Fairlane. The Ford Master Guide power steering takes all the effort out of driving. It's incredible. And I'm actually shocked at how little branding is on this car. This one, unlike the Fairlane, I feel like they kind of let it speak for itself. The Fairlane has branding all over it. This windscreen is so far away, but I love the way it wraps around. I can see through that corner. We'll go this way. I mistakenly thought this odometer said 99,000 miles on it. No, it says 9,900 miles on it. Oh my goodness. Maybe we're going to shorten this drive. I don't want to take this over to 10,000. These can be had for such bargains right now. I mean, they're kind of, I think they're sub $30,000. And if you have a place on the ocean or a lake house or a mountain house, this would be such a cool way to show up to the beach or the grocery store. Sounds amazing. This brake pedal is firm but functional. This inspires so much more confidence in a corner than the Fairlane. It's easy. I mean, like, you're not going to hustle it. This is not going to be mobbed around a corner, but it can take a corner at a reasonable speed. More reasonable than I thought. The suspension just absorbs everything. I mean, obviously there's a whole bunch of sidewall in these tires, but it's comfy. This is luxurious. This, what it set out to do in 1955 and 1956, it continues to do in 2026. Little bit of play in the steering wheel, but it is actually a lot sharper than I was anticipating, so not tough to keep straight and narrow on a small road. I think I can still get this. It's an absolute peach on the motorway. Now, I looked around. We don't think this has an overdrive. So we're sitting at about 2,500 RPM at around, I don't know, indicated 55, 60. They did make this with an overdrive, and it should have a little lever down there. We did not find such a lever. So, my bad if I'm not finding it, but that's the deal. Blowing the stop sign in your Santa Fe. I'm gonna pull off into my trusty office park here. Sometimes I just gotta check that my little plate bag is still with us. But this is also a great example of automotive design, you can look at this sea of sameness. Everything is kind of bland and boring, and there's like nothing hysterical or over the top or that exciting about what's going on over here. There's a couple cars here and there that'll get you going, but everything just looks the same. You've got to know the market. Whereas back in the 1950s, boy, people took some liberties. People took some chances. People really went for it. And here's another thing. Let me show you this while we check. Oh yeah, in the park. I love how authoritative that sounds. Let me show you this. Oh, you'll love to see it. Check out where the exhaust comes out. Right through the bumpers. I mean, basically side pipes through the bumpers. And now, this. Who would have thought in 1956 that the future would hold boring looking cars? What a shame. What a shame. They heard I turned on a camera and the long cruiser out. We gotta get out of here. Oh no, traffic, the mortal enemy of a very warm V8. I would love to make this light, so if you could just move that along. There is a woman on a power chair. You never know what you're gonna find here in good old Waltham. So after this generation of Thunderbird, the car just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it just kind of turned into the front wheel drive thing we knew in the 90s, and eventually had what honestly was a bit of a return to form when it took on the Lincoln LS platform and became essentially like a two-door Lincoln LS. That was kind of neat. It wasn't its own thing, but actually I think heritage-wise, that's more true to the T-Bird thing, because this didn't have its own bespoke engine or anything like that. So sure, why not build upon that platform? It was one of those throwbacks like, you know, they did with the Mustang as well, but looking back, I don't think it was all that bad. I think it was kind of a neat car. This, however, if you're looking for classic motoring and you're on a budget, you can get so much for your money when you look at 1950s American cars right now. It's unbelievably clever what's on the market, and they're cars that are in phenomenal shape. They're not projects. You're gonna always have to be working on them, and you'll need a guy, but the good news is your guy isn't the guy that you're gonna have to hunt down who's gonna work on your Colombo V12. No, your guy is somebody who knows how to work on a small block Ford. That's anybody. That's anybody with even the smallest amount of automotive knowledge. So, I'm gonna go bring this thing back to Bond Group. Sometimes people just yell at you. Yell to you, with you. Oh, it sounds so good. I love it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Don't forget to respect the drive, and I'll see you in the next one.